Hi guys, I'm doing this video to do with Acronis True Image 2015. You may have noticed that I've already done a video regarding this software, but since I did that last video I've been playing about with the software, finding new features and finding a better backup method to set up within the software which backs up the system more regularly and backs basically everything up so you can restore your system without any problems if you do occur any problems with Windows. This software, I've been using it for a while. I started off using 2014, and now I'm on 2015. It's a great piece of software. The main reason for people to use this software is if you've got a lot of programs on Windows and loads of games like I have, and when you occur a problem, instead of formatting your entire system and reinstalling everything back manually, which can take forever, you can use the Acronis software, and basically the image file which you use, which the Acronis software makes of your system, will basically restore your system back to when that file was made. And basically it takes about 20 minutes if that. When you do restore though, always use the latest file. Now the latest file, you may notice, will be smaller than the big file which was first made, but don't worry about that, because if any information is needed while the restore process is going on, it will retrieve it from the biggest file. So in that aspect, there's no worrying about this software. Another good thing with this software is if any of your main PC components fail, like for instance your motherboard or your CPU, what you can do is, instead of having to reinstall the whole system again when you get new hardware, instead of using the Acronis boot disk, the normal one, you make another disk called Universal Restore, and what that does is you can restore your image file from Acronis using the Universal boot disk instead of the normal disk. And what it'll do is it'll ask you to put in any new drivers which you need for your new components. And what you can do before you do that is download them using another computer, put them on a memory stick, and then select them in the Universal Restore disk interface. When you get this software, you do get three parts to it what you download. You get the main program, you get Universal Restore, and you get a plugin as well. So it's a great price for a purchase of this kind of software, and it's a very easy software to use. I've used another piece of software similar to this before, but Acronis is just way more easier. For instance, if you want to make a bootable disk, like I say, you got to do two of them. You got to do the universal one and also the normal one. For the normal one, you just come into the Acronis software here, click on Tools, and then it's under this one here, Rescue Media Builder. Now the disk size you need is just normal CDR disks of 700 MB. Now you can use CDR RWs, rewritables. That's what I use, because what happens with Acronis is when they release a new version of the software or an update, sometimes the interface or the features can change to do with their media boot up disks information. So instead of wasting loads of CDRs, if you get CDRWs, then you can basically just blank them and use it again and make a new bootable disk. So that's that one. And for the universal restore, you go into this one here, and that's it. If this by any chance does open a website, don't worry about it. As long as you've got it installed, it should open from there. And then all your other options you can see, but they're not necessary to go into. I'll show you a few other things you get. Right, you get a Acronis system report, so it can basically do a diagnostics thing for your computer. You've got an active Acronis startup recovery manager. You've got add new disk, so instead of using Windows to add a new hard drive, you could use that. You've got the bootable media builder, which is to create the CD disk for the normal boot up disk. You can clone your hard drive in that one. You've got a drive cleaner, which can completely blank your hard drive altogether. You've got a manage Acronis secure zone. Now I'm not too sure what that is, because I've never touched it and never gone into it. This one here is to create the universal boot disk, and this one is a great tool for basically cleaning up your system, just deleting anything what's not needed. For instance, a feature in that is wipe free hard drive space, and basically what that means is when you basically delete a file on your computer, it doesn't completely remove it. It basically writes loads of numbers to the file and stores it somewhere else. So by that cleaning the wipe free hard drive space, it just means that it will completely wipe the files away and free up more hard drive space for you. And finally, this one here is the user manual, which has got some great information in if you need to know anything about the software. Right, back to this interface here. I will now show you how to set this up perfectly to do a backup, and then you never have to go into this again, because Acronis will automatically back up regular for you. So when you open the main interface, you will see this screen here. Click on entire PC, and you get three options. You get the option to back up your entire computer, which I don't do because I've got multiple hard drives. You can do it by disks and partitions, or you can do it by files and folders. Now I always do it by disks and partitions because I like to back up 2 of my hard drives. And when you do that, you get up this feature here. So if I just so here, if you click on full partition list, and basically by default the C drive will be ticked, and make sure all three are ticked there. And then the other drive I back up, which has got games on, is my F drive. But for instance, if you was to do a system restore of your C drive, if your operating system is not working properly, and you've got games on your F drive like I have from Steam, you don't need to restore both drives, because I've only restored the C drive today. Your games will still work because it's Windows what finds them. So when you use the main boot up disk of Acronis, basically it will give you an option on what hard drives you want to restore. So for instance, if you watch one of my other videos, I use the boot up disk, and all my drives I've backed up, which is my C drive and my F drive, appear on the boot up disk interface, but I only restore the C drive. Okay, so back to this now. As you can see, I've selected my C drive, which is my Samsung SSD. I've then selected my F drive, which has got my games on and my music, and then I click OK. Right, the next place you got to do is select the destination where you want the backup file to go. You can see that the size of the backup file required, for me for instance, is 562.82 gig. When you select destination, you get three options again. You can back up to an external drive, a USB external drive. You can back it up to the Acronis cloud, but you've got to have a subscription for Acronis cloud, so it depends if you're willing to pay that or not. Or you can do what I do and back up to another internal hard drive. But I do highly recommend, once you've backed the file, once you've made the file and it's gone onto the drive of your choice, the internal drive, if you have got a USB drive, you can copy that file or folder to an external drive as well by just finding the location, right clicking on it and choosing copy and paste. Okay, that way if you do lose the file from your internal drive, you can copy it back over when you get the internal drive replaced if it does fail. So for instance here, I go to browse, I click on this PC, I scroll down to my L drive, and I click on Windows Backup, which is a folder I made myself. So I click OK, and that's that part set up. Now the next section you want to do is click on Options, and here you can set up a regular backup. You can do it daily, weekly, monthly, upon event, non-stop, or do not schedule, so it's completely up to yourself. You can obviously do a backup manually by opening up the software and clicking up backup now, or you can tell the software to do it regularly for you, which is better, because then you don't forget. So I always do a backup on a Thursday, and I do it about 1 o'clock when I know I'm available. But if I do miss it, or if yourselves miss the backup, don't worry about it, because when you turn the PC on next, it will see that you've missed the backup and it will just start backing up for you anyway. Okay, so it kind of catches itself up. So once you've set up this little section here, click on Advanced Options, scroll down and click on Run the Backup only when the computer is idle. Now that isn't a necessary thing to do, but I prefer to do that because then if I'm not touching the computer, it will only back up when I'm not touching the machine. In case of missed backups, I highly recommend to put 2 in there. That way it gives your computer 2 minutes to load up properly before the backup starts. Okay. Right, after that, yep, click on Backup Scheme. Now the best options in here, on Backup Scheme, scroll down, click the little arrow and choose Custom Scheme. Okay, and you don't need to click Save As. On this section here, choose Incremental and select this option here. Create a full version after every 5 integral versions. Okay. On this section here, turn on Automatic Cleanup. Scroll down slightly and click on this one here. Store no more than 10 recent version chains. Now change that number from 10 to 2. That way it will only store 2 backup files at a time. Okay, and then I also recommend to click on this option here. Do not delete the first version of the backup. That way the first version you make will never get deleted unless you tell it to delete. Okay, and this section here, you can click on this section here, Save as Default, for the settings, but at the moment Acronis are aware of the problem, but it doesn't actually save the settings unless you click on Backup Now when you've finished. And they have got to release an update to fix that, but they are aware of it and they're working on it at the moment. Okay, so once you've set this to 2, store no more than 2 recent version chains, and do not delete the first version of the backup, and create a full version after every 5 integral versions. And then you've selected Backup Method Incremental, and then Backup Scheme Custom Scheme. That section is done. I'll show you the notifications bit. You can basically put some details in here if you want to, but I just leave it all alone. Same with this screen here. The most important one is this screen here, as well as the one we've just done under Backup Scheme. This one here, it's completely up to you. You can back up sector by sector, but I don't touch any of that. You've got a backup protection, so you can password your backup file. You got a pre-post commands, so you can put some details in there if you want to. You got backup splitting, which I recommend leaving on automatic. Now this section here, validation, this is one you do need to do, otherwise your backup will not work properly. Click in this box here, validate backup when it is created. Now what this will do is validate the backup every time a backup is done, just so that the file, what it basically does is when it's finished backing up all your information on your system, it then checks over the file to make sure that it's all okay before you start using it to restore your system. And this option here, validate backup regularly, you can do that if you want to, but it's not necessary. Okay. The next option, backup reserve copy. You can make copies of your software if you want, but like I say, you can copy the file over from the original folder to an external hard drive if need be, and that's what I do anyway, so this option here isn't necessary to do. Removable media, there's the options you get there, but I don't touch any of that. Which one did I go into? I went to that. Backup comment, you can put what you want in there. Error handling, leave it as default, don't mess about with it. Computer shutdown, you can shut down the computer automatically when the backup is done if you want to. And the performance one, just leave all that as default as well. Once you've done this screen, just go back quickly and check your settings, make sure that nothing has changed. And then click OK. And that's it. Now what you can do is you can basically choose to back up later, or you can choose to back up now. It's completely up to yourself. If you want to back up now, you just click that, but I highly suggest to make sure everything is closed on your PC taskbar, and just basically leave your computer alone while it's doing the backup. If you decide to do it later, you can click this little arrow here and you get a few little options here. Like for me, I'm going to back up later, so I click later here. And there we go. And if you click that, it just says that it's been postponed. And then you can close the software down. Okay, I hope this video has been useful for you. If you like the video, please give it thumbs up to support my channel, and please comment below and do subscribe for more videos. Thank you.